Hey, this is Notser. This is the Tier 8 Premium Japanese cruiser, Atago. It has 10 203mm guns, 16 torpedoes, 38 AA defense rating, a surface detect of 9.1 kilometers, top speed 35.5 knots, total health 40,100. For my modules, reduce crit chance on main battery, increase main battery accuracy, reduce the chance of flood and fire, faster rudder shift, concealment. For my commander, situation awareness, basic survivability, basic firing training, faster turret traverse, superintendent, demolition expert, and concealment again. We're on the map Estuary, and the Atago doesn't really need any introduction. It's a very, very strong ship. And I hope I make it very clear. The Japanese cruiser line is a fantastic cruiser line. There's only one line, total line, that I would take over the Japanese, and that's the American destroyer line. The Japanese cruiser line is very strong, and you're going to see the power that is the Atago. Now, we engaged an enemy battleship. You might say, how did you see the battleship? Well, I chose to use my aircraft. You notice there is aircraft carrier in the match, and normally I will maintain the cooldown. I would wait until I see aircraft spotted. However, Estuary is an exception to that. Estuary is weird because the teams actually spawn pretty close together. They have giant islands that are blocking the line of sight, of course. Now, we've already fired on the turrets, and we've hit him with fire. 2 fires, so he had to put it out, right? And I was hoping that I could try and follow up and get more fire after his damage control wore off, and that's exactly what we did. So now he's at least burning for 1. We're going to try another. Unfortunately, it doesn't cause a fire, but notice there's going to be a little bit of an opening in between these 2 islands. Now, I don't know at the time if I'll be able to fit all 5 gun turrets and their 10 total guns in between these 2 islands, but I'm certainly going to try. And it looks like, yeah, okay, so the front guns, they did hit the island. The back guns, however, cleared the island. And as the turret is, I think he's stationary. I think he's just trying to hide behind islands. We're going to just move a little bit forward, just a hair. And the forward guns should be able to clear it. And enemy Hatsuharu is incoming. That's sending a statement. I just couldn't resist, okay? Well, obviously, he's very close, and we need to send him a message. And hopefully, it will be well received. Yes, we take him out. Oh man, the Japanese cruiser line, it's just fantastic. Now, I will say, I want my Mogami back. I just miss her so bad. I tried playing her, but the turret traverse is just so awkward. So let's keep on positive vibes. We're in this beautiful Japanese cruiser, and we're looking to try and do some damage on this enemy Hatsuharu as he runs away. Now, obviously, this is not statement. He is trying to get into another match. This is another enemy destroyer, and he is trying, of course, and he succeeded in capturing D. Because we didn't have anyone go there. For whatever reason, we have destroyers that are trying to go through the center of the map. Now, I don't think that's going to work, but they can try. And as I'm engaging the enemy destroyer, I notice that probably an enemy destroyer behind me sent torpedoes. It's not going to be an issue for my ship, and I don't think it's going to be an issue for the battleship. But it could have been worse, you know, catch you in the worst position possible. You're going to have a hard time dealing with torpedoes, but it's not a problem right now. Now, one of the things that are really interesting about this particular ship is the detection range. You can actually have a dead zone where you can send torpedoes without being detected. Now, that's not how you should use the Atago, but it's possible. How I like to use my torpedoes is I like to see a target that maybe he underestimates the threat that is imminent, send it against him, and act like I never sent anything. You know, part of reading an opponent is getting a tell. If you don't give them a tell, they don't have any idea that you're actually sending death their way. And I noticed the Cleveland might have an opportunity to fire on him over the island. I never saw the mountain icon, which is very helpful to confirm whether your guns will actually hit the island. If you have a target selected, you have an accuracy bonus towards that target. Basically, your guns know where the target's going and they track it without you having to manually move them. And because of that, sometimes in the old patch, you would have your guns not tracking correctly and just slam into the island. Well, now you can confirm if that issue occurs. And that enemy cruiser, runs smack dab into torpedoes and is dead. So, I'm sure he's feeling that. The Hatsuharu is still alive. And I'm going to try and follow up. I felt like this was a good lead. We're going to get, yeah, okay. Knock out his propulsion. And the follow-up takes out the enemy. So far, so good, right? This couldn't really be going any better. We had significant fire damage to a battleship that's now on the western side of the map. Forces him to play passively. On the eastern side of the map, we've basically assisted in taking out most of the destroyers. They could be a harassment tool. I engaged the Fuso initially, but the Bajoni is really what I want to go after. That is the tier 7? Tier 6. Tier 6 Soviet cruiser. It's all a blur, okay? But we get really good HE damage on him, like 6 or 8k. And I don't need to switch to AP. I could fire HE just fine. I just need to hit the shot. Hit the shot, Notser. And we take the shot. And I predicted that he would turn, and he turns directly into our fire, and we take out the enemy cruiser. Now, an enemy Fubuki is also in the area. I don't know if his propulsion's... No, his propulsion's not knocked out. He was just set on fire by the New Orleans, and the New Orleans is... Never mind, New Orleans. But look, did you notice? We detonated him, which is obviously terrible for the Fubuki, but he got his torpedoes out against the New Orleans, and he kills them. That was really bad luck for our team, and yeah, I was like, what? How? We one-shot that battleship. We one-shot that destroyer. Yet he was still able to get out his torpedo to kill the friendly cruiser. And we follow up with the Fuso. Now, I had set him on fire, and I believe it was burning. And that was probably... what, 3-4 gun cooldown, so that would be about 45 seconds. Oh, here he comes. Okay, full stop. Hard to port. Okay, we absorbed. Wow, that was really good absorption. The 3 shells that made contact did 1k. The rest harmlessly fell right by the wayside. But because the Fuso was already on fire, and here's a second fire, yes, he probably doesn't have damage control. This is going to do a lot of damage. And it's a lot of damage, and that is the Japanese cruiser line. HE all the way, baby. You fire AP if you get a perfect broadside. Otherwise, HE does more than enough damage, and it does more than enough, really. It feels broken at times. The enemy aircraft carrier, which you would never know existed in the match, is trying to send their dive bombers, and yes, more fires. Give us more! And I'm trying to reposition. I'm sort of caught between a rock and a hard place. The Fuso, for whatever reason, decides to not fire on me. He probably recognized my angling, and I did try to angle against him. But now I have to angle with this Colorado, and that's not good. Because I can't get the right angling against both of them. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to send my torpedoes against the Colorado, but I'm not going to show him any tell that I'm doing that, while focusing down the Fuso. Now, I was hoping that I didn't have to maneuver that much, and I didn't. The aircraft carrier sent way too far forward in front of my ship. It looked like an automatic drop. And automatic drops are just... they're not good. It's not good at all. It's not even close to being a viable strategy. And it shows a player probably learning aircraft carriers, which is reasonable. But it's just so easy to dodge. I didn't really need to do anything, right? Oh no, we're showing way too much of our side because I was hoping that the Fuso would die before I would have to deal with his incoming shot. Of course it doesn't. And what? We took out the Colorado and we took out the Fuso. We earned double strike, Kraken Unleashed, and Arsonist all in the span of like 10 seconds. Man, that could not have worked out better. That was a dangerous situation, but the torpedoes, you can't underestimate Japanese cruiser torpedoes. They have such great range, and I need to make sure I make full use of them. I'm really bad about not sending torpedoes if I don't feel like it's a 100% guarantee that the torpedoes will probably do damage. And you notice I didn't really do any damage to that cruiser, but I didn't want him to get away, so I end up firing on him. He's able to cover the distance and close the gap, so I actually overshoot, and I continue to fire. The New Mexico, I believe the New Mexico or the destroyer take out the target. Obviously the New Mexico is probably the target that did the most damage, but his rate of fire is just not there. Oh. Well, the Soviet cruiser armor really shows how much it's worth. Yeah, I don't want to go against the New Mexico all by myself. I would really prefer you to not fire on me. Oh, well, 6,500, I'll take that. And a fire. He puts out the fire. You know what this means. He might actually take a torpedo, cause a flood, and flood out for an extended period of time. He's not able to react in time. We're going to get one. We earn high caliber. Unfortunately, the torpedo does not cause a flood. And that New Mexico got really lucky there. How often do ship torpedoes not cause a flood, right? It has a really high percentage, much higher than the aircraft-launched torpedoes. But we're able to follow up with a fire. Here comes a shot. We're going to try and angle backwards, and look at this, yeah. Move hard to port whenever we see a shot leaving the enemy ship. It's really important, and I have to keep telling myself this, it's really important that you look through your binoculars at the target. I always pull back because I want to confirm that there's nothing coming up around me, right? And then I try and zoom back in to watch where the shells actually land. I've noticed that players copy what I do, or it's just a coincidence. And it's a little jarring when you're not recording live, like the replay, because it's hitchy, right? But that's exactly what I'm trying to gain every single encounter, every single shot. I want to fire the target. I want to have like a picture of where I've lined up on the binocular. Then I want to pull back for awareness sake. Aircraft, maybe a destroyer. You take a quick look at your mini-map, of course. That goes without saying. And then I zoom back in to confirm where the shot actually lands. And sometimes, obviously, I use the zoom in to the shell itself if I can't see where the shot's going to land. If it's behind an island, or it's a really long shot. The fire has actually gone out. We have earned Wither. Now look at the amount of rows we have going on at the top right. You know you've done a pretty good game when you can go 4 deep. Yes, it's 4 deep because they're trying to not cover up too much of the team panel. They do cover up a little bit of it. Part of that is the UI issues, and I really hope they do some scaling. We're able to follow up with a fire. That's just what the Japanese cruiser line does. They light targets up. He puts out the fire, so we know he's used damage control. It's going to be a little bit to go around the island, and at this point I'm being a little greedy, okay? I was hoping that the game went in before I could kill the New Mexico, and I really want to kill him. Friendly tries to assist, but we get the clean shot. We take him out before the enemy aircraft bombs the battleship. And I think that game went pretty well. Yeah, we earned Witherer, Arsonist, Double Strike, First Blood, Kraken Unleashed, Devastating Strike, High Caliber, over 800,000 credits earned, 2,973 base XP, 6 kills. Yeah, I'd say we did okay. We did 158,000 points of damage, 75 HE, 20,000 torpedoes, and 63,000 in fires. That's a pretty good hard carry in the Atago. And I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you next time.